welcome back to the Rangers News YouTube channel. My name is James Black and I'm joined by Jordan Carlisle and Cameron Willis, and we're going to have a wee look ahead to Thursday night's Europa League clash with Benfica. Now, the two sides have already met in Lisbon earlier in the group, drawn 3 each, a game that Rangers probably should have won. But the second game now is at Ibrox. I think Rangers are beginning this with a lot of confidence in the back of a 4-0 win against Aberdeen and absolutely thrashing Hamilton 8-0 before the international break. So first things first, guys, just what's your kind of initial thoughts on the game itself?
I'll go, yeah. It's a real nice, interesting tie to come into, and the best one at home, obviously, of the group stages. Makes very little difference, I suppose, these days, because there's not fans packing in under the lights as there would normally be. That hasn't really affected Rangers as such in the qualifier against Galatasaray, and obviously still get the win against Poznan. But yeah, it's a really interesting game. I think over there was the first time where we saw a team who are, bettering Rangers, I think, in possession in terms of a phase of a game. Right at the start, it looked fairly ominous. Obviously, it was a bit of a sort of combination of errors for the OG at the start, but they looked a really, really polished side in the opening stages, and it looked like that could have been dangerous until Otamendi obviously did everyone a favour and got himself sent off. But I think they're depleted going into the game. Injuries, COVID, people in isolation, and I think they slipped up in the league after they played Rangers as well. So not in a great deal of form. I think the team are only training together one day before they come over to Ibrox, which is a interesting call from the manager, and you think he's going to have his tactics sorted, but players maybe not having that much time together before the game. And yeah, Rangers in fantastic form, beat 2 Portuguese teams at home in the Europa League recently as well, who've been finishing in similar positions to Benfica. So I think plenty of confidence in terms of Rangers coming into the game. And as Gerrard's already said, if they win here, it provides a chance probably to rest players for the rest of the tournament, depending on how the result goes elsewhere.
Yeah, I think the fact that they're depleted might play a big role in it. I think as well, whilst there's been no fans, I think Rangers will still take a lot of pride in playing them at Ibrox and wanting to win at Ibrox. I think it's really gutting that we don't get to play them, because I mean, I don't know, Benfica, a bigger club than Porto, perhaps maybe that's the biggest tie that we would have had in Steven Gerrard's tenure, would be having them at Ibrox. But it's a shame that we can't go. But I think that when we played them, at the start, they did look a really good outfit. But when we got into the game, when they went down to 10 men, there was elements that was our best performance of the season, and we were absolutely sublime at times. And I think that when you go back to the depletions, they took that boy Nunes on, who looked absolutely outstanding. It was just like looking at him, that's a top quality player. He came on and he tore Helander a new one for the first, and for Benfica second, his kind of first involvement. Then he obviously scored the other one. So not having him's huge. I think that Rangers will take confidence from the fact that they had such a good performance in that match and take it on against them. So that there'll be a lot of self-belief there. And with that game against Falkirk at the weekend, means that we can name a full strength side and tell them to really go and empty the tank and say, go there, get a result, show the European stage what you're made of. And if we win that and Standard Liège beat Lech Poznan, then qualification secured 4 games in. I think that if we win this, then we're on course to top the group. I think
that was something I was just going to mention there, that I mean, going into the 4th game in the group, and we could already secure qualification. I mean, I doubt many folk were predicted that when the group was drawn. I know I was fairly confident and said that I thought every single game in the group was winnable. But I mean, I could never have thought that 4 games in, you'd be going, well, we could have a place in the last 32 already secured. It just shows how good Rangers have been in Europe this season so far.
It shows you how far we've came under Steven Gerrard. I think that when we started the European competition this season, we went into it with a lot of confidence, and not the first 2 seasons we kind of thought as if we were kind of fighting above our level. Now it really is our level. It feels that way anyway.
Yeah, I think other clubs can see that as well. I think when they go into the games now, they're very much aware that, say, Rangers are the second favourites to come out of that group, and therefore, in line to qualify. Just with the standard of performances they're putting in, they've got a reputation for obviously being very good at home based on results in the last couple of years, but also being difficult to beat away. So yeah, it's the quality and the fact that you can name a full midfield of internationals and real sort of flair and pace in the final third, and a real solid back four. I think Tav and Barisic have obviously done really well in things like the Europa League ratings, and Barisic has been linked with big clubs, and those are guys that people know are going to bring a threat, but at this point, other teams haven't been able to stop. So yeah, I think going into the game, there's plenty of belief there. There's any number of things to draw on in terms of general form, fact that of the performance over there, the fact that they've beaten very similar teams at home so far in the competition. Just there's so many things to draw upon, and I think, as you pointed out, Nunez, I saw him in the first game. He scored a hat-trick against Lech Poznan, and he looked unbelievable. And then I couldn't believe he's on the bench, and that was something that clearly played into Rangers' hands. But then he had enough when he came on. But even Goldson said, he was like, I had no idea how fast he was. He's absolutely electric, big, powerful player, strong in the air as well. So to take him out of any team is a massive boost. And I think they've got people missing the whole way through. Julian Weigl in the middle, Tavares, a left back, and then 3 or 4 others. So it's the whole way through the team that they're missing players. And I think that's one thing that, when we're talking about where Rangers are so far this season, that maybe we didn't touch upon perhaps enough. I think that the Rangers have got the rub of the green quite well so far, in terms of they've obviously put real rigorous things in place in terms of COVID and protocols, which obviously they were straight down on Jones and Edmondson when they went beyond what they should have been doing. But they've been quite lucky, I think, to have just Nathan Patterson really isolating so far, that games haven't been called off because of others, and also because people are injured. Like Aberdeen were really struggling at the weekend. Hamilton were really struggling in the game before that, and now Benfica are. So it's a case of capitalising on this while it's going your way, because over the course of this season, before there's a vaccine, there's bound to be incidences where it changes and the luck goes the other way. So it's take advantage of it while it's there.
I don't know if I don't know if that's the case. I don't think it's a guarantee that Rangers will be impacted by the virus.
Oh no, I don't think it's a guarantee, but I think you just have to make sure that you're not. You take every single chance while it's there for you.
Obviously, you can pick it up anywhere, right? But does it not say something about the professionalism?
It does. That's what I'm saying. Like I do think that's part of it. I think they've put really, really good stuff in place, and like Jones and Edmondson step over the line and they're right on it. They've hammered them straight away. But also, I do think there's an element of luck to all of this, and it's just running with it while they've still got it.
I mean, so going back to the game itself, Gerrard's got pretty much a full strength squad to choose from. There's only really Niko Katic, the 2 suspended half-wits, and possibly Bongani Zungu, who's going to be missed out, but we're not sure on him. He's picked up a knock in international duty. So it does leave a couple of questions over at least a few positions in the starting 11. But obviously who partners Connor Goldson, who makes up the midfield 3, and what the front 3 is. I mean, what's your thoughts on what the starting 11 is going to look like? Does it Helander or Balogun at centre back? Arfield start?
I think he'll give Helander a chance. He started Balogun at the weekend, but obviously Helander got a little bit of a roasting after the performance in Benfica, and it was so unlike him. He's been so solid for Rangers, and particularly this season, but he just looked all over the place right for the first minute, man. I don't know what he was trying to do for their opening goal, and then he got caught for the second. Nunez tore him apart, and then again, they both of them got caught flat-footed for the equaliser. So he didn't play well, but I think with regards like the competition and stuff in the squad for places, I think that they'll give him a chance to redeem himself, and I think that I trust him to step up. I think it'll be him. He normally goes with him in the European games, so I think it'll be Helander.
Yeah, I'd agree. Nunez not playing might factor into that. He might have thought I have to go Balogun if they've got the extra pace. But yeah, I agree that Helander played. And midfield's a tough one. We were talking about this in terms of the best 11 and stuff before a couple of weeks ago, and I couldn't really decide what the crack was. I think Kamara comes in, but it's a case then of I still think it's impossible to drop Arfield in terms of the energy he's going to bring. And I think,
would you take Aribo out for Kamara? Go Kamara, Jack.
I see Davis though as well.
Yeah, I know. See, this is fine. I think Davis is playing as well. They may put 6 of them in the midfield and have no one up front. I think
it's a hard choice, man. It is. They're all playing well though, so it's a good choice.
I think with them, my sort of thought process with Jack is just the calf and the problems he's had there before. He plays twice in international duty, plays at the weekend, and Davis hasn't. You know, he pulled out of the third Northern Ireland game, only got a few minutes off the bench. And we talk about Benfica being a massive game, so can he leave Jack out? Like, he did exactly that in the Old Firm. So he's definitely prepared to do it. He knows he can win a big game with that 3 in midfield. So I could see him not playing Jack, and then when he mixes the team up at the weekend, having Jack in as the leader in midfield around some of the younger players.
Then there's obviously the front 3. It was Kent, Morelos and Kamar Roof at the weekend. Now, I thought Roof and Morelos showed signs of just starting up in a really nice partnership. I think in Morelos' performance at the weekend was he came in for a lot of unfair stick for people, I thought. I thought he'd have got a really kind of hard working game. I think he's doing this. He's playing a very different tactical role, and I think it's helping bring out much more from more people. There was one where even just kind of he's a lot more unselfish. There was one with Scott Arfield when 12 months ago, Morelos would have had a shot, but against Aberdeen, he picks the pass out, plays it across goal, and I think those two are almost certain picks. And Kent's almost undroppable for Gerrard, so it's that 3 looks to me like it picks itself just now.
It'd be good. I mean, I like that front 3. I think that's our best front 3. It really is the most kind of direct, the most attacking, the most lethal, the most potent, I think. But I mean, maybe I'll play Hadji there, or even Aribo, because he can play off the right. I don't know. I really don't know. The Morelos performance. The trio of terror, man.
What one he uses on this week?
See the Morelos thing at the weekend. I think a lot of people giving him stick because he's not scoring in Scotland, and it's quite an old school idea that the striker needs to score every game. But I mean, look where it got us. Do you know what I mean? In the last 2 seasons, having an over reliance on his goals in Scotland. So I think he played well, but I think we start him in Europe. I mean, if there's going to be a Rangers player that scores on Thursday night, it's probably going to be him. He loves playing in Europe, so.
Morelos is an absolute for me. And to be honest, I mean, just when you're saying about Hadji there, I can see Hadji getting a move long term to a slightly different position eventually, because I think that, I mean, Roof spoke after the Aberdeen game that he's still got a bit to go in terms of fitness. So if this is Roof not at his best yet,
he looks like a really, really good player, doesn't he?
Aye, man. Well,
see his movement for his goal when he comes out, he pulls Andrew Considine right out and then comes back in. It's just like quick flash, man. It's just so impressive. And then the touch and everything, that was genuinely a top class goal. I know the Aberdeen boy probably should have went through him, or not like through the back of him, but should have won the ball and should have been a harder, more robust challenge, that Lay boy. But what a goal! I mean, he does look like a really good player. He looks like a top player. What a signing he could prove to be. He's already scoring as well. He's hit the ground running a wee bit, and big hopes for him.
You see him doing his calves exercises after the game as well. He's definitely in his injury prevention. He's strapping the weights on after a game.
I think, given his history of calf injuries, it's probably a prevention thing more than anything else.
Oh, yeah.
It's at least showing you somebody that's taking care of himself, and he probably is fairly well aware that he's got this reputation a bit that his calves are made of glass. So He's
You know, it's crazy, but he plays like kind of inside forward, like the other side of Ryan Kent, but he's got like this kind of lethal, potent edge of a striker. You know, he's a very versatile player. You know, and he got that instinct. You know, I think that could prove to be an absolutely wonderful signing by us.
Well, he said when he came that he wanted to play number 9. That's a role he wanted. You know, that's how he sees himself. But I can play all over the place. But I think it probably is clear that time he played up front himself against Poznan that there was maybe that, there was some nice pretty patterns, but maybe not that same in behind it that you maybe have when Morelos is there. Yeah, but I think that's interesting as well, and just the way it's sort of worked out that you want a guy in there who's not going to hug the touchline and take things away from Tav and the overlap, but also who's going to contribute stuff. And when you had Candeas and they had that really good partnership on the right side, the one thing lacking there was Candeas contributing enough himself or regularly enough himself. And if you have a goal scorer in there who can also create, but at the same time not fill the spaces that the Tav wants to get into, then it's brilliant. Yeah, so I think the three of them again. And it's tough for people like Hadji and then also Witten, who maybe hasn't had the chance to do much wrong, but it looks like that's the best three, certainly for now.
Definitely. Just to wrap it up, just put you in the spot like I enjoy doing as always. Score predictions for Thursday night.
I've got it in my head, man. I think we're going to win 2-0. I think that Benfica kind of without a lot of high quality players, and Rangers are on form. They're going to want to prove that they can cut it at this level. They'll take heart from the first result, and we beat Porto 2-0. So last season. So I think that we'll see. Maybe even see a better performance than that, but I fancy Rangers. So I'll say 2-0.
Yeah, I'll go 2-1. Home win. Yep.
3-1.
Oh, bold.
Full house.
Indeed. Well, that's all we've got time for this episode. Remember to like and subscribe. Have a look back through some of our previous videos, and thanks for watching.